On today's show, we're going to discuss the way Klarna, the buy now, pay later fintech giant, is revolutionizing its marketing strategy using AI in their creative process. How they did it and what does this mean for the future of marketing. I'm Daniel,
É, Matheus.
and this is the Human AI Experience. We'll be right back. So yeah, I read an article last week about how Klarna was using AI into their creative process, and it just caught my attention, and I just wanted to talk about this today. So in the beginning of the year, this year, Klarna was facing some challenges, like many other companies, with a lot of creative demand, budget, but a lot of budget constraints. A lot of companies are cutting budget this year because there's a lot of uncertainty in the market. The the economy of multiple countries are a bit shaken. A lot of companies are backing down on and cutting costs. So Klarna decided to use AI tools, different AI tools, mostly image generated tools like Midjourney, Firefly from Adobe, and DALL-E from OpenAI to cut their costs with compromising on creativity and effectiveness. And that was their claim, right? And they achieved pretty significant results. 37% of cost savings in marketing, and that for Klarna corresponds like 10 million annually, which is a lot of money, a lot of savings. So how does the use of AI here is transforming their creative business? So the CMO of Klarna, David Sandstrom, I think I'm getting his name right, basically is explaining that their ideation process was long and costly. So in order to visualize a lot of ideas and campaign ideas, that it would just take a lot of time. It will generate a lot of drafts, a lot of visual concepts, and that also costs a lot of money, of course. And the AI comes into place here to speed up that process. So we all know that generating images on those platforms are really really effective, even though the outcome sometimes very often you have to generate a lot of images to get to a good result. But it speeds up the process of generating those concepts. And that's basically where they're using AI to speed up their creative
Daniel, that's a really nice story that you're telling us, and I feel really interested about how the Klarna is using it. And as a designer, how do you envision like the use of these tools? I feel that it's not that much clear. I read the article too. Like it's not that clear in the article how they use like Midjourney and DALL-E and even Firefly from Photoshop. So I would like to see what is your opinion as a designer about the topic.
So the way I see they are using this, and because my background is advertising, so I've done that. At least before AI, it was a very manual process. You would, in order to visualize concepts, whether you have to illustrate something or you would have to catch an idea and then go and try to find images, put them together on Photoshop, like Photoshop it, like a concept to present to clients, right? Of course, there's different ways. Some clients will understand like illustrations. Other clients, they couldn't abstract that, so they needed to see like a more photorealistic concept, right? And that's where I
Yeah,
think AI plays a big part on conceptualizing those images.
yeah, I think it's interesting because usually, like we as an architect and you as a designer, we usually to illustrate we do some collages that sometimes they are more abstract, as you were mentioned. Like so, I can see that some people that are not into design they can get a little bit lost in these images instead of getting the big picture, visualizing the vision of it. They get stuck in the images itself. So maybe that's a really good way of rendering like ideas in a prompt way, like in a fast way, like using AI. That's really nice.
Exactly. So when I started using Midjourney, actually, I could clearly see. how agencies could benefit from this, because it saves a lot of the conceptual. You don't kill the creativity. You just execute it quickly instead of just having this elaborated Photoshop mock-up that it will take forever for you to just to find the right images with the right angle. Midjourney can do it like instantaneously. Of course, then you need the human curation, right? It's gonna generate a lot of crap, and then it will you will need to find the ones that make sense. Maybe there is some Photoshop on top of it as well. But just by doing that, without having to go to image banks and try to find cut, cut the images out of their backgrounds, mix them up with other images, just this takes a lot of time. So that's how I see Klarna, how Klarna is optimizing their process by doing that. And I think that's brilliant. I would assume that a lot of people, if they're not doing, they're going to start doing this from now on, because the benefits are huge.
And I was thinking, because they said that they use DALI, but are they using DALI as a Midjourney, just generate images, or are they using, for example, ChatGPT to generate prompts and then putting in and testing in different tools? Is it clear in the article how they use it, like the
No,
tools?
it wasn't clear in the article what they were doing. They basically painted like a very superficial picture of it. And then because I come from advertising, I'm assuming that's how they are. I mean, the whole conceptualizing it was in the article, but I am assuming how they are doing that by using these other tools. For example, you can use Firefly to create templates for banners, social media posts, and then by generating images on Midjourney, you can populate those templates with those images, and then you can use ChatGPT, for example, to generate the headlines, have like a copywriter from the company or from an agency to just look into the text, or just creates the prompts and then get ChatGPT to just generate like many variants of those, and then they can just populate those designs and then test them, right? So one
Yeah.
of the things that they mention is that they save they reduced in 25% the cost for external marketing suppliers. And then they managed to just take those 25% savings to reinvest into paid media and also other high impact areas. So I assume that they're basically, instead of paying like a direct marketing agency to do this, I don't know, 500 banners from different countries, they were basically generating those in-house with their creatives, with their creative team, and then testing that in the market. That's how I imagine this happening. And then I think that's how agencies should be adopting AI today.
And thinking about this perspective of like saving money in many terms, I think you said before 37% of savings, like 10 million in budget, and how does it affect the market, okay, the advertising market? Do you think it will reduce the amount of jobs for the marketing companies, or is it something that, I know that it's a movement that we cannot fight against, but how these agencies can change or can move towards this direction? What do you think as a designer with so many years of experience in the area?
Well, they have to
That's a million
adapt,
dollar
right?
question. That's a million dollar question, I believe.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, if I knew what first, it's hard to predict what's going to happen next, right? We can only assume that AI is going to get better and better, and then at some point you will be able to tell it to automate a lot of things that today you have to do it manually. There's a lot of automation you can already do, but mostly in regards to productivity savings. So let's say, so just today, I just saw like a small debate about the future, how AI is impacting the future of marketing. And there was a AI plus copywriter in there. So she created a business where she's a copywriter, professional copywriter for marketing and UX copywriting. And then she is basically using her curation and teaming up with ChatGPT to just generate this copywriting services for different companies or different agencies, right? So she is basically optimizing and she can offer a service, for example, where you can generate a lot of those copy material for different banners, different campaigns, and you can test those and then see which ones are more effective, and then take that back and then use ChatGPT to refine that, or generating multiple versions, or even better, if your company is a multinational company that have different countries and different markets, it's really easy for you to just translate those into multiple languages using ChatGPT. So it's pretty efficient. So it was interesting to see how she was using it. And I believe that this is how agencies should adapt. They should start embracing ChatGPT or other language models, and then use it as a sidekick. So basically using it to brainstorm different ideas and then refine it using your creative experience. Basically, I guess that's how I see the market moving already now.
Yeah, and I see another. I think it appears for me on LinkedIn. I was searching and I saw like someone talking that they are creating their own client through ChatGPT. So they instead of like testing with multiple campaigns, like in doing like A/B tests, they're just like creating the client on ChatGPT, and they're talking to the client. What do you want? Asking for the client like, so if I do that, what would you be your approach? Would you buy from this perspective or another perspective? What is your like? What is your pain, to buy this product? What are you feeling to compel it to buy it? So that's another interesting example. I think that it kind of matches a bit of what you were talking about when you create like multiple tasks and multiple like perspectives, in the same using AI.
Yeah, exactly. It's basically having a chatbot with your personas, right? So basically you have, let's say your audience are, I don't know, creative professionals from multiple creative backgrounds, and then you can create those personas, right? And then you can train your own chatbot, and then ask questions to that persona, right? And then this is something that ChatGPT can do it pretty well. It can impersonate that. Of course, it's trying to mimic somebody, right? And there's going to be a lot of biases because AI has a lot of bias because it's trained in biased data from history of humanity, and we are so biased. But it can give you an idea where to go, right? It's a starting point. By doing that, you can create like some campaign headlines for banners, and then you create like 5 different ones, and then if you have the budget, of course, you can just test those 5 and see which ones perform best, and then you can take that and put it back into your persona chatbot, and then you improve that even more and get it and start making it more efficient. So there's a lot you can do, and I hope agencies are aware of that. Even though I've listened to a podcast one of these days where it's basically a CMO, like a chief marketing officer, that from different agencies, that interviews other marketing people or other CMOs or CEOs or chief design officers. And then they were saying that agencies are, especially the big ones, they are very slow to change, and they have been struggling the last couple of years because we know very well that the market today, to market a product, you have to create content, you have to be on social media, because that's where the eyeballs are, right? That's where people are spending their time. So it changed a lot already. And there's a lot of companies, there's a lot of agencies, especially the big ones, struggling to get where their audience is, and also struggling to adapt to a new form of marketing, which is basically the creative industry of influencers.
Yeah,
They're
content. Yeah.
creating a lot of content, playing around with brands, and then the brands that are succeeding nowadays, some are too big to fail, right? But the ones that are succeeding nowadays are the ones that actually are engaging their audience through those influencers or through creative content creators online.
My impression is that big companies, for example, as Coca-Cola or like Apple or these big, huge companies, they need to have their brand in our minds. I think they can keep the old-fashioned way of marketing and putting everywhere the brand. But I feel that the small business or like niche business, they need to be creating content by themselves. And I feel that it's not no one better than people that work in the company or that created the company to do it. That's why, like, complementing what you were saying, like it looked like that's the crisis of the advertising marketing, like lately. I feel because it's difficult when you are like an agency and you enter in a company to understand the culture so quickly that you could create something unique and with the heart of the company, you know. So and I feel that AI can help the small businesses and people that are like in like as a small entrepreneurs. They're trying to sell their stuff. Like as you say, like ChatGPT can create your persona. You can talk to them. My only concern about that is like I have seen like lately they launched the ChatGPT 4.0, and sometimes I don't know if it's because it's connected to the internet, but it get lost a little bit the content. For example, I asked like for them to write something, and sometimes he was put in a different company, you know, like in the middle of the letter that I was writing. So it was super strange when that happened. And my only concern about if you were talking to your client, that sometimes it get lost, the client that you were envisioning, you know, to use. So this is something that we always need to get back to the source, you know, to check if the person is continue to be the same and not changing through ChatGPT.
Yeah, what you're talking about is what people call hallucinations, right? So when
Yeah,
an AI model just goes off script and just start telling you a lot of bullshit, it gets things wrong instead of let's say if you ask it to answer an email to help you answer an email, and then and you put the original email, and then sometimes it just does completely off board and it's almost like looks like it needs to summarize that email. So that's the problem with AIs today. I guess it's a bit, they hallucinate a lot, and but hopefully things will get better, right? They're gonna start getting better and better. Even though I heard that one of the things that happens with these AI language models is that the more they are being used, sometimes the dumber they get instead of getting brighter,
yeah.
because I guess the average person is using a lot, it just messes up with the data. So it's just funny. But anyway,
Yeah, that's an
interesting.
interesting. Maybe it's another topic that we can talk in a different podcast. But I think it was a good reflection that we talked about the marketing agencies and the market and how Klarna was so innovative. Like that's so impressive how they use and they cut 1/3 of their costs like through the use of AI. That's really impressive. That's a good case of study, I believe.
Yeah, when we talk about the productivity gains and cost savings that AI can bring if it's well used, if you know how to use it and where in your pipeline to use it, it can bring a lot of cost effective savings. Yes, it's a very good example of how AI is transforming companies. Of course, there is an impact on jobs, or there will be an impact, but at least one of the things that the article mentioned, and the one of the worries of the CMO from Klarna, is that they don't want to use AI to replace talented marketers or designers. They want to use it to enhance and support their creative team, which I thought it was good that he mentioned that because we know that in reality there's going to be a lot of companies that are not going to care about that, unfortunately. But it's good when at least the leadership is worried about that. And in case of Klarna, I think it was pretty clear that they are. But I guess we're coming to an end. So any other closing thoughts you would like to mention in regards to this, or should we wrap up?
No, so yeah, just to wrap up, I think that's a really nice study case. Klarna did a really good job, and I hope, as it was said, that they continue with this concerning with the creativity and then trying to keep people, because I feel that that's what differentiates us from AIs. You know, we're still creating something new, even though we take a lot of references from other sources, but when we put them together, we create something unique. And I think for now, AI is not capable of doing that still. So we still need the human touch to moderate and to create new stuff.
Yeah, human curation, right? I
Yeah.
think that will always be necessary, and that what differentiates, because you need some sort of curation in the output, right? So like I mentioned before, it can generate a lot of stuff, but you need to be able to have the eye or the experience to select which ones are the right ones to use. Awesome. Okay, let's wrap up. And if you're interested in how AI is evolving and how you can introduce it in your life or your work, subscribe to the podcast in your favorite podcast service and follow us for more. Let's explore AI together. If you have any questions for us, you can reach out to us on hello@humanaixp.com or connect with us on Instagram @humanaixp. Thanks for listening and see you next week.